All modern guitar tones sound the same. No, they don't. But I understand why a lot of people make this argument. I've talked a lot about the benefits to using amp sims on this channel, but there are some drawbacks to using them. If everybody's reaching for the same amp sims and using the same presets, it could put your guitar tone in a box. Pun intended. With that said, you can definitely get a unique guitar tone using an amp sim, but you have to get creative. But even then, you're limited to the parameters of the plugin that you're using. In my opinion, one of the benefits to using a real amp is you have a lot more opportunities to try things. Of course, you're limited to the gear that you have, but you could still get creative in the way that you use that gear. And if you have a lot of gear, the opportunities are pretty much endless. I have access to lots of amplifiers and cabinets, as well as a solid collection of microphones and pedals. But for today, I want to focus on the amps and cabs. So what I'm going to do today is show you every combination of amplifier and speaker cabinet that's currently set up in my studio. Tones incoming. Welcome back to the Riff Haven Audio Podcast. I'm Dan Ferguson, engineer, producer, and owner of Riff Haven Audio here in Long Island, New York. When I first started recording guitar, I had one amp, one speaker cabinet, one microphone, and one pedal. Could I get a good guitar tone with what I had? Yeah, but it was difficult to experiment. And once I started recording bands that weren't my own, I knew I needed more options so that I can get unique tones for each artist. This is going way back before the days of amp sims, so acquiring more options was more difficult and more expensive. These days, I have lots of gear at my disposal, and I thought it would be cool to show the different combinations of 3 different amplifiers and 3 different cabinets within the same mix. Let's talk about the controls for the experiment. I'm going to record a DI in the computer and then reamp that DI with each amp-cab combo. All the tones will be captured with a single Shure SM57, because why not? That 57 will be using the same mic preamp for each tone. And each tone will have an Ibanez TS9 tube screamer before the amplifier. Gain all the way down, output all the way up, tone at 12 o'clock. Now for the variables. The amplifiers I'll be playing through are a Peavey 6505 Plus, a Mesa Triple Rectifier Solo, and a Marshall JCM 900. I currently have the matching cabs for all 3 of those amplifiers in my ISO booth. I'm going to play each head through all 3 cabs without moving the microphone and without changing any of the settings on the amplifier. This way you'll be able to hear the character of each combination. In a previous episode of the podcast, I talked about the various elements of the guitar tone pie, and I'll leave a link to that in the description. The next slice of the guitar tone pie is your cabinet. Believe it or not, it's your cabinet and the speakers that they're loaded with that's going to affect your tone a lot more than the amplifier that's feeding it. Some of you guys might know this already. If you don't, next time you're at a rehearsal space that has lots of different amps to choose from, take a head, dial your tone, play it through a cabinet. Then don't change any of your settings and plug that same amplifier into a different cabinet. You'll be amazed at how drastically different the tone is. A lot of people were surprised at how big of a slice I gave to the speaker cabinet, and I think this experiment will demonstrate just how much the cabinet affects your tone. And for the purposes of the experiment, I'm not going to EQ the individual tones after they're recorded. Each guitar tone will run through the same guitar bus that has the same settings. This way, the true character of each amp-cab combo is shown. And real quick, before we get into it, if you find this content helpful, please subscribe to the channel. I started this podcast to help heavy bands make great music. And every Tuesday, I'll share something that I've learned. If you have any specific questions or things you want to see in future videos, drop me a comment below. I read them all. Now, let's capture some guitar tones. All right, now that the tones are captured, let's hear what they sound like. So what did you think? Which combination was your favorite? Leave me a comment below and let me know which amplifier and cabinet sounded best to you. One of the benefits of having an engineer reamp your tone is that we can get really wild with this stuff. Amps, mics, cabs, pedals, list goes on. If you want to get people's attention, it's not always enough to just sound awesome. Sounding uniquely awesome is what's going to raise some eyebrows. If you're interested in having me reamp your guitar tone, head over to riffhavenaudio.com. There's a sample discography there that you could check out with some of the tones that I've crafted over the years. If you like them, hit the Get Started button, answer a couple of questions, and I'll hit you up to talk about your project. That's all I got for you guys this week. Thanks for watching. Later.